And get, oh, there's Jay right there.
Okay, I did something different with his feed. I have the ability to like mix the audio, so I turned on that one. In addition to the internal microphones over there.
Okay, dope.
So listen, you can listen to it right now.
We gotta get, it's 2:00, and the session's supposed to start at 2.
We just have to.
I just have to put in another one.
Yeah. Oh, y'all can't hear me. I'm like, I'm trying to be in the back as much as possible when I can, since I do.
I had your number.
I think you do,
I
but
think he's supposed to be my brother, and I need to foster this relationship.
I think you do, but I don't know. I was about to say, so you need to check it.
Okay, tell me the number.
910
910.
745 3159.
Nope.
I ain't got you.
Okay, so let me text you.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
910
910.
745 3159.
So they didn't tell me how long to hold on, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. Praise you, Lord. So again, I thank you all. I see some other people coming down the hallway to join us, but this is who I preach to on Sunday, so I'm good. I'm good. So as you'll notice, I don't have any slides on today because I really want this to be a dialogue and not a presentation. And I think so often we spend more time on the presentation and less on the Q&As, and I really wanted to flip that. So I think in the booklet it said Redemptive Poverty Work, Trauma Healing, and HIV. And I really want to couple that with this thought, right? With this thought of the invisible class, and how we can maximize ministry to hard to reach populations, which would be those living with HIV. If you don't know who I am, let me give you a very brief synopsis of who I am. Apostolic leader, Lives and Souls Missional Church, Atlanta, Georgia. We currently have what you church folks would say a multi-generational, multi-ethnic, multi-sites. Said 9 of those in Atlanta, and they're micro-church expressions. So each expression is no more than 50 to 70 people. Our two newest expressions are Sunday Supper, in which we have moms and their children sit down, we serve them supper, and after the very brief message, they're able to actually conversate around faith or love or hope, whatever the message was on that particular day. And the meeting place, in which we have over 300 folks that are in hotels currently. And we took one of the rooms and we actually made it look like a living room. And folks come in and it's really a house church, right? It just ain't in my house, right? But it's a house church. Folks sit on couches. Our choir is on the screen, very similar to the one that's behind us. And we have a good time. And don't believe that the Holy Spirit can't show up in micro expressions, because truly the Spirit has. I'm the founder, CEO of the Hub, an integrated care ministry, said a movement director behind Be the Church Network, which is really an urban microchurch church planting organization. We take smaller churches and sort of show them how to do more macro work. And then ministry developer. Yes, ma'am.
215.
215.
Yes.
Want me to start over again at 215?
Yeah, because you got more
Yes.
people coming past.
Okay.
Or you don't have to start over, but
All right.
we'll be live with the.
Okay, then I can hold off. I can hold off until 2:15.
Yeah.
So whatever I just said,
I didn't hear
y'all
it.
right. That was sound check. That was sound check.
You got it.
2:15. Somebody got to watch the clock now. 2:15.
That was to your.
Six
we were
minutes.
We were mentee training. Now
Right.
we're going to get back to the.
Okay, gotcha.
Sandy want to come in.
What?
You intro to our mentee training course.
All y'all training everybody. That's all of us something.
You better moderate, Sandy, Dr. Sandy Bailey Gwynn.
We all know that was a tough session.
I told you I don't walk off the stage.
Jerome, what was you in?
I was sitting in the corner and praying. I was sitting in the corner praying. I mean, like, so some of the pieces, I could very much appreciate some of the dialogue. Some of it, I was like, what? Are you sure what you lead? What? So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave that there. That's gonna be that's what I'm gonna put there.
Amen.
Some of it, I was like,
Amen.
okay, I got you.
I'm watching the light to make sure we ain't live.
Yes, please. Make sure
Not
we
that I
ain't
care.
I know.
Yeah.
All I do.
So imagine you sitting out there, and I'm.
But you gotta fix your face. And,
But I think that's the challenge of a moderator.
Absolutely.
It's like, because you're trying to open a space.
Yeah.
However, I need you to stay in the space.
Right, there's certain boundaries,
right. You got to stay in the space. But that with all of the intellect that you had on the
But
stage.
nobody would know. Nobody was gonna let
So
They
yeah,
believe what they believe.
every answer was going to be its own thesis.
Right. Absolutely.
Every answer. So yeah, you just to get done, and that whole you got 5 minutes left. Well, the next answer was
Yes.
11 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a rough panel
And
to
sometimes
moderate.
it wasn't even worth responding to. It was just,
And I've learned that too.
let's just move on
Yeah.
to the next one, you know?
I've learned that too.
So,
And you appreciate,
yeah,
and you ask the next question.
yeah.
And even the next question, you want it to flow.
You do.
But I chuckled when I'm going to answer a different question. With the question she asked.
Did I ask? Yeah.
Right.
What you talking about?
She did.
But even in that, I'm gonna say this with you.
It was deep.
What my question, which I thought was going to lead to what my answer was not my answer,
Mhm.
but it opened up a door
Right.
for something
Right.
else,
Yes.
Right.
and I could appreciate it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the balance. That's the balance. Because had you taken back control, then the Holy Spirit can have taken. If it didn't happen that way, it wouldn't have happened the way that it did.
And that's
So
probably why there was such a demonstration at the end.
right.
Because it was needful to try to gel.
Right.
Because that's what the whole conversation was, to try to promote.
Right.
We may not all have the same common grounds,
Mhm.
but there should be some unity, you know?
Right.
But when you have the panel is in disagreement and is putting seeds of discord into the work, you know, people didn't pay to come and get seeds of disagreement. They're coming to get seeds of commonality.
Mhm.
And so I think the Holy Spirit just moves so powerful
Yeah,
in
that's-
demonstration to try to
Yeah.
bring
Right.
and gel together, which he
Right.
did.
And see, we didn't
You know.
see the Holy Spirit moving during,
Mhm.
but the evidence that
Mhm.
came
The
after was like, okay, I've been here,
Right,
I
right.
was working this, now let me rest.
Yeah.
Right.
On all y'all.
And all came under submission.
Yes.
All, yes.
Y'all are right.
Very quickly.
All came under
Y'all are
submission.
right.
But then I go back to, it has a lot to do with the spirit of the moderator to usher in that and to maintain that. It's like you're the pilot. So the turbulence that was up there, you had to navigate it. You have to navigate with the questions you ask, knowing how to ask them, what to ask next, who to go
Or to
to.
ignore.
That too. Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
Let's say we got 2 more minutes.
Y'all are right. Because for me, standing up, it was like, I gotta go. The time is up. And when I moved, I was like, whoop.
Yeah, that was challenging. That was challenging. So we're gonna try this again in less than a minute.
Did you bring the PowerPoint?
I will explain that again.
So we'll run through that in just
Right,
a
I'll
second.
do that once again. Hallelujah. Deliver us from PowerPoints, oh God,
How about that one?
so we can have dialogue.
You deliver us the PowerPoint.
Yes, please.
Please.
Y'all wanna come this? Y'all wanna go to the next one? To that one next door?
One minute. 1 minute.
You want to go? Look like I was taking home. Yeah. You walk around in the
So I have 2:15. So we're going to start this. I thank you all for coming, and I really have been praying about this session and praying for each of you without even knowing who was going to be here on today. I'm supposed to talk about the work that we do, really taking a lot of what we heard this morning and this afternoon and how it actually looks, if you would. And I can say our church is really, our ministry is really ground zero. And we're going to be talking a little bit about redemptive poverty work, trauma healing, HIV as well. And I really want to couple this under what I've sort of tagged as the invisible class, the invisible class, and how we can maximize our ministry to hard to reach population. For those of you that don't know me, apostolic leader with Lives and Souls Missional Church, we have a 9, and I was joking with them earlier, Sandy, that as church folks would say, multi-generational, multi-ethnic, multi-sites. But they are micro church expressions, meaning there's only 50 to 70 people in those chicken nuggets that they didn't even know how to use a fork. And to watch children now pick up forks or having those conversations, the games and the phones being put down. And then one of the other expressions that we have, we call the meeting place, which in one of our hotels, over 300 people that we service on a daily basis, helping them get into housing. We took one of the rooms and we made it look like a living room, right? So really a house church, if you would, but not in my house. Founder, CEO of the Hub, an integrated care ministry, movement director would be the church network. Many denominations, and I have to put this politely, wanted the money and the membership, but they didn't want the ministry. Like, don't bring them folks here, but you pay your fee and you can say that you X, Y, Z. So we sort of created our own network, if you would, to get the benefits of what we needed. A ministry developer for an organization, World Impact, out of Wichita and LA, 50-year-old global missions organization. Having a lot of fun with them because I get paid to do what I do every day. And that's kind of cool. And some other stuff that I do. It really cut my teeth as being part of the Black Church and HIV social justice imperative. So I'm really excited to see this conference, because this is something that we had talked about and we wanted to do. But sometimes when you have folks that say yes or no that are above you, you get more no's than you get yeses, right? So it's not about me being on stage or my face on anything, this, that, and the other, but seeing the work that I did, 2009, 2011, for those years, to actually come into fruition, because this is what we had been praying for, to be here today. But I learned very early that the secret of change is to focus all of my energy, my gifts, my talents, my time, not on fighting the old, but using all of that to build the new, right? I put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, cussing folks out in leadership to do right. And it got exhausting, right? Because I said, why am I continually fighting for you to do right when I can just go ahead and take what I have, apply for grants, do whatever it is that I need to do, and just build the new. And that's what we started to do. And when we came up with our vision, it was a transformed ministry, minds, lives, and souls in order to influence community and the world in which we live, learn, work, play, and worship. And I think for those of you that are in the faith space, you'll understand the first part of that. For those of you that also work in the public health space, understand that it's to live, learn, work, play, and worship. That was really our ode to the public health work that we do. I don't see how we separate public health from the church, right? It's mind, body, and spirit, right? And oftentimes we'll send you to a doctor to take care of the body. We'll send you to a mental professional to take care of the mind, but we got to start sending you to faith leaders to take care of the spirit. And I always tell Sandy this in going into places, that I was speaking prophetically in these spaces many years ago, and got ostracized in some circles, which was fine by me because you ain't coming over for Christmas dinner, no way. But got ostracized from some of these spaces. But to hear folks now doing plenaries and different workshops on what we talked about, we know that we were in the will of God. So why did I say the invisible class? Why did I say the invisible class? Well, let's do a little, what do they call it? A little icebreaker. Little icebreaker. Y'all close your eyes. Y'all close your eyes just for a second. Right? And I'm going to ask y'all some very simple questions. And I'm going to have to just step over and I'm going to touch you. And can you tell me what color Cindy's glasses are? Red. That was good. Doc, can you tell me what color her ribbon is?
What ribbon?
The ribbon with your badge on it.
Oh, mine or hers?
Right. No. There, I'm asking about you.
Oh, mine.
Right. Yeah. What color is the ribbon? She don't play the game, right? Well, what color is the guy sitting behind you? What color is his ribbon? Right. Interesting. Lady sitting behind you, what color shoes does she have on? Brown, fair enough. The guy sitting next to you, is he wearing slacks or jeans? Jeans. And a blazer?
Yes.
Polo shirt or dress shirt?
Dress shirt.
Okay, what color is the dress shirt? Pocket square, no pocket square? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, Javon, can you get that? Javon, do I have on a pocket square?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. The invisible class, right? Y'all can open up your eyes. So it really is about us noticing. It's about us noticing. And you can imagine how much fun that is in a much larger room, because husbands don't know what their wives are wearing, etc. Folks, you cheated, because I was like, the glasses is probably going to be too easy for you, right? Oh yeah, they were red, right? Said, but we don't even really pay attention to who and what's around us, and we miss so many opportunities for ministry.
That's good.
Because we don't focus on what's 3 feet in front of us, or now 6 feet, right? So the invisible class, who is the invisible class? Those that are unseen. Unseen, the homeless, the sex workers, those that use substance, those that live with HIV, those dealing with severe mental health issues, LGBTQ folks, troubled youth, those are invisible class. But what about those that don't want to be seen? Those that don't want to be seen in our faith spaces, those that are experiencing shame, guilt, trauma, and fear, where are they to go? Right? The unseen. And then what we have sort of labeled as the throwaways or the go-aways. Those are the folks that have been rejected by the church, that literally I got kicked out of church. I know y'all find that hard to believe. I got kicked out of church, right? But there are throwaways or the go-aways, that they will never make it to the front row for prayer. We stop them at the door, because you ain't dressed right, or you don't smell right, or you don't look right. So we can't, allow you to be on camera, right? And those are the invisible class. And I'm also just really amazed in the work that we do, right? 3% positivity rate. We were linking folks before linkage was linkage to care within 72 hours. Because if I call the doctor with a bad ankle, doctor needs to be letting me know my appointment is tomorrow or the next day at the latest. And we were putting folks into care at that point, 90 days. And then the community gets excited that we can get folks in to see the doctor within 30. There's a problem. There's a problem with that. And as we were doing that work and we were going out and doing these tests, we started seeing more folks that didn't want to be seen. Didn't want to be seen. And I'm not talking 9 to 5. We were going out like late in the evening, right? Late in the evening. And they didn't want to be seen. And as we started to build relationships and we were talking to them, we heard some very interesting stories that we then had a couple of work that we were doing. One with trauma healing, right? And then what's called redemptive poverty framework. And I know that may be a new term for some, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. As a pastor and as a faith-based organization, we get Matthew 25, 31, and 40. We do very well, right? We do very well with that, right? Feeding the hungry, making sure that the thirsty, the greeting the stranger, the clothing, the sick, right? Not so much with prisons, because that's a whole nother workshop. But we'll take 5 out of the 6. We'll take 5 out of the 6. But how many sandwiches are you going to continue to hold or to give to that person? And then you realize that it's probably not the sandwich that they need.
Right.
How many more of your old clothes are you going to take out of your closet and keep giving it to that person and realize it ain't about your sweater? That's problematic for me. Or if we do work in prisons, most of us only do the work when it comes Christmas for Angel Tree.
Yeah.
We want to send a gift to a child as if daddy really went to Walmart and got this bike and this helmet.
Right.
Creating something that don't really exist. And that has always just sort of amazed me, that we take this very basic scripture and we've distorted it so bad. It just amazes me, right? So when we looked at our mission, we said early on that we wanted to provide help and that we want to restore hope and allow hearts to heal. H3, that was on the t-shirt, that was on the cap, that was on the towel, just simple H3. And then we realized it was so much more. Right? That we had to do the rescue. We had to be redemptive in our work. We needed to make sure that there was reconciliation. But then there also had to be restoration, so that as well as resiliency. Finish this sentence. Teach a man to fish, or a woman, right? And then what? What if you don't eat fish? I mean, we all say it, and it sounds good, this, that, and the other, but I don't eat fish. So why can't we teach a man, woman to fish, to run the store, franchise,
Yes.
and then we ain't got to come back every
Yes.
third Saturday for a little feeding program at the church?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe he can then take that little fish market, partner with Sandy's Garden or Ulysses's, dairy thing, and then they can take care of community. Right? And that's the problem that I have with what trauma-informed care. Do not slam me. I believe in trauma-informed care. But trauma-informed care deals with the individual and that particular instance and not the circumstance that got you in that instance.
Yeah.
Right? We have met too many people where the daughter is HIV positive, the mother is HIV positive, the grandmother is HIV positive, and then we want to act like, oh, the baby is HIV. Because we only dealt with that one individual. And we started looking at this from a community perspective in the work that we do, right? I said the person's name, and the person was actually watching. It was a good story, but still, I was like, yeah, let me be a little bit more mindful. But recently, we had one of our leaders whose son had committed suicide, right? And it really took us really hard because we were talking about mental health with men, and then here this young, good-looking, athletic male that both parents, you pretty much name it, committed suicide. Reason being, he was abused, sexually molested in a church. Z, which was actually Muslim, she didn't want to be seen by her community. Muslim, Indian, used drugs, got hooked. We told her literally, and listen to the words, this was on a Tuesday, and we got to figure out what your next step is. She told us, just give me till Friday. And she stepped in front of a truck that Friday morning.
Wow.
That was her way out.
Wow.
Because she didn't want to be seen by her community.
Oh, wow.
Mulata, and I'm where I was when they came to service. Good looking guy, light skin, the hazel eyes, that sandy red hair, was wearing a trench coat, pair of shorts, six pack. How do you get a six pack and you're homeless? I'm trying to figure out that workout plan, right? I was praying, he. And my wife touched me and said that he was transgender. And I had to apologize in front of the congregation because I meant no harm. That released healing into place. I prayed publicly, so let me fix this publicly. Malata, because I didn't hear the Malata they were on my leg for 45 minutes, weeping.
Wow.
Weeping, because no pastor had ever acknowledged them for who they were. Then all of a sudden, this person shifted and that person shifted in the parking lot at Checkers. In the parking lot at Checkers. And one of my favorite stories was a gentleman they call Snake Eyes. Blacker than black could ever be. The greenest eyes that looked evil. Dirty dreads to here, tattoos everywhere, walking back and forth at one of our services. Are you the pastor? No. Why are you want to know that? Right? I need to talk to you in private. By myself? Over there where nobody can see us? We went over and I started talking, and he told me his name was Snake Eyes, and he had said all of the things that he had done. And he had told me about this white girl that he had met at Georgia Tech, prestigious school there in Atlanta. He said, I destroyed her every way that I could. Met her at a party, and I literally, physically, mentally, sexually, emotionally financially, I destroyed her. And it was something that you said in your message that I heard this voice that I needed to bring her to you. To me. That next Sunday, we're there. I'm sort of praying that he don't come back because I'm really I'm scared of this man. He drug her down the street by her hair and her neck. Drug her down the street. She is screaming at the top of her lungs because she thought she was going to be put in another abusive situation. And she put her at my feet. He said, there she is. And I said, do you desire prayer? He said, no, I already know I'm going to hell. And I haven't seen Snake Eyes since. That young lady was put in a program that Sunday. Said until this day, she's doing Bible study in her apartment. Because we wanted to focus on community. Not look at her at what she was or, hey, this is what you shouldn't have been hanging out with this person or you shouldn't have been there. We just did what we had to do by getting her into a program. And when COVID hit, she called me and said, can I hold Bible studies in my apartment with my friends? Other folks, listen to me, other folks said that were in her same situation. And she held Bible study and still doing it to this day. Folks that I would have never been able to reach.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Because that's not my experience.
Yes.
She was able to reach and we just helped her along the way, right? So those are just some of the real world examples of how we've taken this redemptive poverty framework and we've put it into play. What is a redemptive poverty framework, right? We have to activate community. Right? I can't do everything by myself. I used to. Believe me, I don't. This 4 days is vacation. I ain't gonna lie. I had to work a little bit today, but when I got on Monday and they said I ain't got help set up, I went up to the room. Look, tomorrow I ain't doing much or nothing. I'm here to support folks, and if I don't feel like supporting you, God bless you. Anyhow, right? Because we built a team, right? And we've activated community. Because when COVID hit and I couldn't go, wasn't that just a little egotistical of me to think that if I don't feed you, you won't be fed? Like that, I don't go out there and I don't do, them folks was fine. They was wondering where I was. We were dealing with COVID in our household. They didn't have no COVID at all. Better immune systems than I had because I was masked up, garbage bag on, gloves, said electrical tape everywhere, this, that, and the other. So they were wondering where we were. How come we weren't having church? Right? Said, but activating community. Individuals can solve their own problems. I don't have an answer to everything.
Right.
I just don't. And even if I did, that's not your experience. Jesus may not even be the right answer. How about that? Because maybe that's what traumatized you in the first place. Right? But understanding that individuals can solve their own problems. Going into urban communities, you can take whatever you work in and fill it in with HIV is an oppression condition, not an identity. Poverty is an oppressive condition, not an identity. Homelessness is an oppressive condition, not an identity. Everybody got a drunk uncle, right? Right? Everybody got a drunk uncle.
Yeah.
But he ain't still somebody's son.
Right.
Because we quick to do that. Quick to, here she come again, and you know she was doing this. You know about it because you was there.
Right.
Because y'all know, they asked me to come and talk at HIV and faith-based organizations. I first started talking to the Mother's Board. Sister Levitra, Sister Viagra, and Sister Cialis. We need to have a conversation because them commercials, they used not to be for young folks, but they for y'all. Villages down in Florida, highest rates of HIV because they still, my grandmama used to say what? Just because there's smoke in the chimney don't mean that they ain't fire in the furnace. And my granddaddy to the day he died was trying to shoot his shot at the nurse. At 90-some years old, still trying to shoot his shot, right? Said, but it's not an oppressive condition, right? Or it is an oppressive condition and not an identity. We got to stop labeling folks.
Yes.
Because God knows if we ever can do a conference where we can just give out folks all white t-shirts and put the labels on them when they come in, just like we were working on the quilt. Said start writing your stuff on your t-shirt. You can't even talk about me. Because you got the front, the back, the seams, the sleeves with just our stuff. But we want to put all this stuff on other folks. We got to get out of the savior syndrome. That's that redemptive poverty work. Rescuing people from their circumstances. How many times have we been in a church and folks have come to the altar and said, I'm getting divorced, and we pray? Yeah. I'm losing my home. I lost my job. I have HIV. Not so much.
Right.
Because we really haven't created the safe space that we think we have created. We think we woke, but we still hit an alarm when it comes to HIV. That alarm clock will get up in about 15 minutes on that one. Now, 41 years later, we still hitting an alarm clock. Still hitting the alarm clock. Individuals and communities can be empowered, right? If we can empower the individual to take ownership of whatever the situation is, they empower others. It's natural. You go to a good restaurant, hey, Sandy, have you tried such and such? Or Javon, have you tried such and such? Or hey, I'm going to be at your city, and folks tell you about good restaurants or experiences. They begin to share the empowerment. But we overload them with theology.
Yes.
I was going to say this before Sandy was in the room. Your Reverend Doctor don't mean nothing to most folk.
Right.
It don't. Right. At the end of the day, everything we need to know, we got at Vacation Bible School in 1976, for those of you if you really want to think about it. People have been calling you, and just because you're the newbie, right? Everybody been calling you Reverend Doctor. Has anybody asked you where you graduated from?
No.
Show me the paper.
No.
I can be bishop today if I choose to. Ain't nobody gonna question it. Right. But folks, tell other folks. Give them the basics and let them run with it.
Yeah.
We're looking at evangelism and this strategy and that strategy. Wasn't no strategy back then. Here's the good news, and they ran with that thing. Well, if I don't have a church of 15,000 and no, less than 1% of even mega churches. The truth is, most folk got under 100 people.
Yes.
Most folks. I'm leaving Bishop Bronner where Bishop Bronner is. I can't do what Bishop Bronner does. I can't do what Dewey does. I do what William does.
Right.
Mega church, I ain't saying the name because, again, I'm online. Y'all got 300,000 and fed 300 people. I want one of them boxes because when I did the math, that was some good food. But y'all got them same free boxes from Hosea Feed the Hungry. So what did you do with that 300,000? Because that's my whole budget for 5 years. 5 years, not 1 year, 5 years. Right? So, but individuals can empower communities, right? Communities empower empower cities, and then regions and territories. They become transformed. And isn't that what we're supposed to be about? Transformation.
Yes.
Healing-centered engagements. I said I'm not a fan anymore of trauma-informed care. But instead of trauma-informed care, creating healing-centered environments. Right, where when folks walk in the door, they should automatically know it's a safe space. Right? I get slammed a lot because people ask, am I an affirming and inclusive church? And I say no. Because you've hijacked affirming and inclusive. You want to know if I'm married to T or a Tim. That's what you really ask. So we say open table. Anybody can sit down at our table.
That's good, right?
I'll get up and you can have my seat if we ain't got room because there's only so much space in here. You can have my chair because I don't need to sit up here in a little big wooden chair with the two matching ones on the side. I'm good.
Right.
I can sit in the back and still be effective.
Yes.
Right? So a healing-centered environment to engage folks around their healing. We recently did HIV testing and the sugars and blood pressure. Young kids, 22 years old, higher blood pressure than mine. And I was on Robitussin that day. So I knew mine was going to be off the chart. Why? we got to talk about healing. We got to do something a little bit better, right? So we create these healing-centered environments, right? We want to engage around healing, right? To deal with the traumas and toxicity. Toxicity, the trauma brings the toxicity. It amazes me to see some of the toxic folks that walk through our door, and they don't even realize they're toxic because they think that's normal. Your name is Jane, I ain't gotta call you B.
Right.
I ain't saying Beyonce. But you only respond to B. That's not normal. If I ain't yelling at you, you don't think I love you. That's not normal. The fact that I hug you and then you're like, okay, well, now we have to have sex. No. No. Toxicity has come out of the trauma. Safe space, I have learned just from this workshop that all safe spaces are not safe. Now that, and I'm taking that out of my presentation as of today because I talk a little bit about safe spaces. But church hurt and religious trauma is real. Is real. I talked to several MSM, well, you don't understand what I'm going through. Well, I get that too. But I can understand the pain and just not experience the same hurt.
Yes.
Right? Do no further harm. I think I'm gonna have to change that one too, based on conversation that I've had at this conference. So some we talk about language, right? But language has to be coupled with action as well. And then my new word is ecclesiophobia. I'll let y'all faith elite and the religious scholars just process that. Being a pastor of a church don't mean nothing no more. It triggers people. It triggers them. For real. There is a fear of the church because of the damage that the church has done. But I truly believe that same church, if we learn to repent, that we can go ahead and be that healing place once again. Ecclesiophobia, the fear of church, may result in a negative emotional experience that can be either directly or indirectly linked to the institution or the leader. Or the leader. I can say it, right? Because I'm grown. The SBC list of child molesters and abusers shocked me. Some respected folk shocked me. Some were arrested, some were fined, others graciously retired early. No! Ecclesiophobia. And that's where we have sort of coupled the whole saving lives with saving souls. I literally have to say I'm a pastor, but I'm not that type of pastor. That don't make no sense.
Right.
Because we do communion and condoms. And if you need clean needles, we got them too. Well, why am I getting my clean needles from a pastor? So because God said that they're going to come back when I pull them out of what they're living in. And they have. Because they trust me. And I have relationship.
Well, can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
Often work, I think we all do in here, is that most time we don't put a title on the work. I mean, when I go into spots, whether it be substance abuse, I don't say I'm Reverend Doctor. Hey, this is Sam. I'm in a grocery store. The craziest spaces, we don't lead with our title. At least we shouldn't lead with our title.
We shouldn't, but Black church culture,
Please.
because there's a lot of white pastors I know, they just John. And then I'm shocked to find out that they pastor the church. So, me trying to be hip, just call me Will. Well, Reverend Francis, I can't call you Will. I don't, but Reverend, make me sound older than I actually am, right? So let's just do Pastor Will. Right? And that has sort of become a nickname, said because a lot of the folks ain't really I throw pastor, where I throw the reverend doctor, where I throw apostolic leader, where I throw, look, over here to these colored chairs, right? It's about optimal healthy outcomes. Over here to the peoples, I do communion and condoms and clean needles. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of, yeah, that's how we really want to be, Sandy. I get it. But I didn't ask y'all to put my title. I know I didn't send Marcus the whole shebang, right? But it's hard because it is a respect thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a respect thing, and I get that. Said, but we got to be real careful with where we throw the weight and who we throwing the weight with. And now I have felt that, okay, I'm fighting for my space within the church community, right? Within the faith leaders community. Said, but here, I can't lead with pastor no more. I got to sort of lead with my own stuff. My own stuff. Right? And then, hey, come on, Sunday, 3 o'clock. Oh, you're the pastor? But you said, yeah, I did, but it's okay. It's okay. So what is this creative pathways of opportunity, right? I just truly believe that pathways of opportunity for us to do this work more effectively said can't be just spiritual. They got to be kingdom.
Yes.
They got to be.
Talk about that.
Right? I think I will. Just because I can.
Yes.
I told the white audience on Sunday, Juneteenth, got invited in, only black in the room. But hey, they tried. They tried. Hallelujah. And the check cleared instantly. Right? Look. But here was the thing. Here was the thing, right? So I knew I had to say some stuff that they necessarily didn't want to hear. Right? So since you invited me in to talk about social justice issues, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Right.
First of all, y'all invited me here because I'm black. Let's start there. Because you didn't invite me 3 months ago just on Second Sunday. So here, then let's go ahead and just deal with the abortion issue. Mary was talked about horribly. And I'm sure abortion came in her mind. I said it. Y'all take it for what it is. She had the choice to abort, right? They was a little, what did he say? Said, but Jesus would have wept the baby and then ministered to the mother with love and care, but then took care of the oppressive system. Because I had to stay on that for a second, right? Said, but we have to just understand that sometimes everything ain't pray, baby.
Thank you.
It just ain't. It just ain't. I love what Dr. Gaddis just did with the, well, you should have abstained. You was hoeing. But look, the average age in my line was about 13, 14. I was trying to do the math. It's easy for me to stand up here and tell y'all to abstain and I got a wife.
Hello. It's easy to do that.
Look, let's be practical. Let's be practical and let's just be comprehensive. If you're going to do it, here's a condom.
Right.
Because I'm tired of buying pregnancy tests. Truth be told, if my wife ever goes to divorce me, this is a true story. All she got to do is tell her attorney, pull this debit card record, because there's a pregnancy test on there. There's a whole lot of baby formula, diapers, Depends, right? I just got a plethora of things on my debit card that the judge would grant her quit. But John 5 and 6 says that, see, we focus too much on the healing and not being healed and whole. Now, see, I can be healed, but my brother said he was healed and whole. See, I can take what I got and I can run with it.
Right.
And even in my healing and in with my stuff, I can begin to bless others.
Right.
Because it says healing and whole. Hem of his garment. Ain't that all she had to touch to become healed and whole?
Yes.
Why the hell are we giving folks church applications? Checking their tithe and record? Seeing if they was in Sunday school and Bible study for the last 3 months, only to tell them no in the first place because God's trying to teach you a lesson. Huh? You ain't been faithful. You must have some unconfessed sin in your life. healed and whole. I need you to be healed and whole. We have to create those opportunities, those pathways to get folks healed and whole.
Yes.
I don't need this whole side of the church to be in black and white collars. I need y'all to get up and go out the door. Huh?
That's what it is.
I need the deacon and deaconesses to get up off of their asses.
Yes.
Right? That's in the Bible. And sit in the back.
Come on.
Because when we do altar call, they rush me.
Yes.
I can't get to those who I need to touch because of the crowd. Marcus, I know I cuss, but it is biblical. Right? We got to begin resourcing our people. We got, look, I'm grown. We got to begin resourcing our people. Right? Economical development, public. Think for a moment how we can repurpose our church.
Absolutely.
You got empty Sunday school rooms for the last 14 years because ain't nobody coming to Sunday school. Take a room this size in your church and turn it into a clinic. You got plenty enough space for a reception area, triage, and 2 offices right here. Next door, let's go ahead and do a drop-in center. Right, where folks ain't got to come through security. They ain't got to do nothing. Mickey Mouse and Santa Claus can just sit down and just talk about what they need to talk about. Celebrate recovery was one of the things I think Dr. Gaddis said, or whatever. Just use your Sunday school room for that. It amazes me how, like, maybe 5 years ago, we'd have church chairs up here, right? Because we'd be full. And then the next year, we take that row out, and then the camera we move to make it look full.
Right.
Ain't nobody coming like they was coming no more. And that ain't me. That's Barna that said, what, 40%? Up to 60% of congregations ain't coming back. Said, because I enjoy sitting in my drawers, right, in my bed. And look here. I can see Reverend Anderson. I can skip over and listen to Carrie sing. And then I can go over here and listen to a little bit of Reverend Dr. Gwen. All in the same hour.
That's true. Right. That's true.
Take your sanctuary and open it up to the community and see what the community could use. Folks ain't getting married in churches because they can't afford it. Folks ain't being buried in the church because they can't afford it. Mother been here, she put the brick in the corner and you still charging mother said to be in because you need security, you need the cleaning crew, you need, repurpose our church space and create pathways of opportunity. You had a question, comment?
Are you doing a question at the end?
Oh yeah, this is the dialogue. I'm just on the roll.
I'm anxious. What are your thoughts on what's hindering conventional ministry or conventional leadership from shifting to being innovative and and doing real ministry? I don't want to say real ministry, but ministry in a more meaningful way.
Because they never went into ministry in the first place for the right reasons.
No, it was about.
You don't think so?
No, sir.
Okay.
And if they did, they've lost that a long time ago.
Okay.
A long time ago.
Well, you almost say that.
And why do you say? And because it is mostly blacks.
Yes.
We do it much differently than the other people. So why?
You want to say something before?
So, what I'm realizing, even in my study for my dissertation, they did, my grandfather, they did what they could do with what they had mentally. So that worked for 20, 30 years. Even the people who started off the plantation, the plantation owner gave them some land. The name of the church was Under the Rock Baptist Church because it was under a rock, over a rock. So they did what they could, and they just progressed on as you got older. But as we have seen and we have learned as new blacks, I don't know if I'm going to say the word new blacks, or educational blacks in the ministry, we see now there's a difference. But I had to check myself too, Marvin. I had to say, well, why grandmama and granddaddy didn't do that? They looked at me, because we didn't know.
Right.
We did what God had given us. So now that we know, it is time for us to somewhat try to educate, if they allow, Let's just speak. That's what I observed.
Because I realized when I was the elder, and when I was the prophet on the front row, and me and my wife was escorted to the front, and everybody else was in the back, I realized something is not right. Like this should shift. And so I put myself at the back. You know what I'm saying? And then it'll be, oh man, God, you come to the front. No,
Right.
no.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if so I'm just like, the same spirit lives in me.
But you heard the story about the 3 generations of women that were doing dinner and they cut the ends off the ham. So, Mama, why do we cut the ends off the ham? So I don't know. Ask your mother. Ask the next one. I don't know. Ask your grandmother. Ask your great grandmother. Great grandmother said, to your point, we had to cut the ends off the ham because the ovens were smaller then. Right? But yet generations later, we still cut them. And I think that's exactly what we see in the church, that we do some stuff that we just do and don't question.
Just because.
Now, I was in New York, very large church, asked the deacon, chairman of the deacon board, very well-known church, why deacon sit in the front. I don't know. I guess I got to ask pastor. Because that's just where the deacons sit. We can walk into most black churches and know that the mothers are going to be sitting on the left and the deacons are going to be sitting, or vice versa, depending on whether or not the pastor's right-handed or left-handed, right? So they pretty much know. You know, there are going to be 2 ushers at the door. There's going to be 2 right there. My armor bearer. Never. We just do things. But we just do things. So my whole thing is, people like, well, how can we get so-and-so in Atlanta to this meeting or that meeting? Stop and fight their ass. I said it again, just stop and fight their ass. I what? Did not the lady say that the dads can kick and plow the field? Or she said the donkey. You're right. Stop and fighting the donkey. How about that? Stop and fighting the donkey. Thank you for correcting me. But because my thing is, right, if they're not coming and it's not on their heart, that's okay. That's really okay, because God has given it to me to do. Right? And I have walked into spaces I will never forget. I had to speak at House of Hope, Greater Travelers Rest. And I had never been there before. I just knew it was huge from the outside. I don't think people realize, have you been there before? I don't think people realize how huge of a church that is until you're inside, right? So we came in a little side door and they were like, Reverend Dr. Dewey Smith would like to speak with you. And yes, and we're going to have you go out and, please, we're going to give you 3 minutes, make the announcement, and then I'll come behind. Okay, I'm cool, right? Oh, well, you're ready to go on stage. And I walked through this door and the guy said to me, and share your testimony. Oh, it was an announcement in 3 minutes. Share the when I hit the stage, and it was like balcony on top of balcony on top of balcony. Whoa! Right? And we did what we had to do, and it was a phenomenal showing. 300 people after the first service, another 300 people after the second service said came to be tested. But then I went into a little church, and it was me and a little church mother. She was under a rock over a hill around the corner of Baptist Kojic Church. But she was doing like phenomenal work in community. And that's when I learned folks have their lane. Right? Folks have their lane. I haven't been around the choir for years. I missed what we got last night. But I don't need to take that, bring him into a space this big. Because they would take up the whole space. Right? So it's okay for you to do you. So my recommendation is, instead of asking these folks to get involved, be on a steering committee, right? Where we're just going to ask for your name on the letterhead. It's your planning committee that needs to plan the work that needs to be done. They ain't going to go do the work. Then you have your doing committee, right? That's going to be out there doing the work. Liken it this way. There's high steeple, mid steeple, and no steeple churches. Your high steeple church, I'm only talking about Dewey because he's in Atlanta. I go to a Dewey to talk to the congressman and to the governor. Medicaid. That's what I talk to the Deweys about, because they got to go through him. They got to go through Jamal. They got to go through Bishop Murphy. They got to go through Jerry Black. They got to go through churches like that, right? That's what I use the high steeple churches for. Mid steeple are going to be more your young adult, right? They going to get it. They ain't coming till 11 because they was at the club, right, late last night. I can go in and I can talk a certain way, said to them, right? That's probably where I'm going to get my volunteers from, right? Because you're going to bring your frat brothers, or I got a group here, or my whatever, they going to come. But them no steeple churches, let me take all the socks that I just got from Dewey's church in one Sunday. Couple that with my volunteers and now show up at Mother Jones's church. And we can do something not for one individual, but for community. Right? So I think we have a problem with understanding our ask of churches. Right? Because you ask me too much. Right? Well, who are you? Reverend Dr. William Francis. And what's your pronoun? I just said Reverend Dr. William Francis. Oh, okay. okay. Pronoun. Okay, I got it. He, him. Okay, all right, I can do that. Then the next meeting is LGBTQ. And then you said today LGBTQIA. And then I've heard other folks say LGBTQIIAA. And then you said that, oh, he's a cisgender. I'm a what? Because we got to fight, because I thought you said SIS, right? So now I'm cis. It becomes too much, right? So what I need you to do is just to help me pray for those with HIV. Just let me just do that piece, right? And then I can ease into this other stuff, because you hit me with too much. You hit me with too much, right? So, but we can begin to build these pathways of opportunity, right? Most of the churches that I get invited to preach at is because you can't say what I can say and get away with it.
That's right.
And get away with it. I can talk to old people about them having sex. And then talk about young folk. And then talk about preachers. I can do that. Everybody can't do that. I use humor a lot of times. Said to go ahead and share stories, right? Because they deep. They deep. Right? Everybody can't tell a joke. Right? Or to use it and still have an impact. Right? So allow the church to create the opportunity in the space that they can create an opportunity in. I'm not expecting a church in Buckhead to understand urban ministry. I'm just not. Because when they show up, they look like the police. They look like they're coming from defects. Standing over there in a polo shirt and a little khaki shorts and a little dockside, just watching what I call poverty porn. Because this is that a crackhead? But you just put your son in rehab for $15,000 copay. It's the same thing. And what you don't realize, I had a pastor in Nashville said, tell me that I pastor the perverts. When you come to Atlanta, I'm going to be there the next weekend. So I want to go out and see what your ministry really does. So let's get together at 10 o'clock. Well, we can stop and get a cup of coffee and breakfast. Sir, I don't do ministry at 10 a.m. I'm going to pick you up at 10 p.m. Nice hotel downtown, picked them up, right? I had an SUV there. You sitting in the back, you sitting in the front. What we going to do? Oh, no, I'm going to sit in the front. We pulled up on the street, sex workers. Well, you act like I ain't never seen a sex worker. I said, sir, I'm not here to show you sex workers. I just want you to watch the license plates that drive by and talk to the sex workers. Because that one is from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That one from, I don't know all the counties in Nashville, so y'all work with them. But they from Nashville. So the ones that I pastor, you done messed up. Because everything that makes Atlanta so attractive make it so dangerous. Because see, I can roll through Atlanta, do what I want to do, and then still be home for dinner with Sandy, right? Because I said 5 o'clock, but my meeting was really over at 11. You can go to Cheetah's and get a very good steak. I know y'all know there's a strip club in Atlanta, but they got some of the best steak in Atlanta. There's a purpose for that. And they $50, $60 steaks. I'm just saying, but I'm running out of time. We got to begin to make partnerships, and I appreciate y'all's dialogue and stuff. We got to create partnerships that have federal, government, state, local, church, and marketplace working together if we're going to end HIV. We can't do it by ourselves. Folks sitting on the 12th floor trying to tell me what I need to do on the ground floor, that don't work for me. There's folks right now, directors or whatever, ain't never done an HIV test, but they telling me how I need to do them. And that just don't work. And if you can't work with me, because you want the relationship I have with these folks. So if you can't do it my way, then we just won't get it done. We'll get it done, but we won't get it done through you. And I've had to be bought into that space, right? So when we say that we're going into new spaces and places and seeing new faces, again, it's mind, body, spirit, and soul, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financial, socially, economically, we have to begin to minister to our folks. Oh, well, housing opportunities with people with we ain't got housing for regular folk, right? And I'm not saying HIV folks ain't regular, but we ain't got housing, period. Let me put it that way, right? So, but we ain't never had Ryan White sponsor job fair. I said it. Ain't never had him sponsor job fair. Not near one time will they sponsor job fair. Never one time have they done leadership conference, right? So we got to begin to look more holistic at this HIV thing, right? If you don't want to test, we'll take the condoms. If you don't want to test, you take the condoms, at least get the information, right? It's still prevention, because hopefully you're walking away with something, right? We got to be more community driven by community needs. You can't sit here and put a conference together and come up with a plan without having the community in the room. Period. Our churches can't do the same. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go do outreach and we're going to do this for the community, but you've never asked the community what they wanted. And then you wonder why ain't nobody show up. Right? So we've got to be community driven by community needs. There has to be a paradigm shift from pastoring people in a church to pastoring community. Yes. My church, because as a pastor, it's the pastor of the church, I pastor a community. My father and mother trip out as I'm walking down this, that people across there, and Pastor Will, because I pastor a community. Right? I'm going to tick some folks off with this, but we got to move from we are, ours, and them to theirs. I'll say that again for the people in the back. We got to move from the we are, ours, and them to theirs. Supposedly, what I was told, this is the Lord's. It's the Lord's house. That it's theirs. You just got the privilege of being over that house. Misuse it, you lose it. So look, when people come and, well, I was thinking such and such, well, put it on paper for me. Just write it out, make it plain. Yeah, and I think this would be a great ministry. When you want to start it? How much you need? Dr. Gaddis was talking about line items. Those are the line items. What they want to do. What they want. Because my little Bible study on Jonah and the whale ain't helping nobody. Right. Credit repair, helping people. Right. We helped the dude last year. His score was trash. We went through, he had stuff on his credit report for like 12, 15 years. We hit the little button on the little app. I said, we'll check it in 2 weeks. His score was like mid to high 700s. And it got his apartment. How come your social worker all these years? Here's why. Because she wasn't working to put herself out of business. She was working to keep a job. That's how pastors preach. You ain't really trying to save the folk. You trying to keep your position. Ma'am, sir. Here's what it is. I can say it and I'm fine. Because I don't, 4,022 said, I ain't going to retire off of 4,022 said. But it freed me up to speak the truth. There's just sometimes we just got to be real with it. Right? Love my aunties and my uncles to death. Right? I did a sermon, Lord forgive me, but it was powerful, called The Shit in Your Soil. Just think about it for a second. I know the city folks don't understand, but the shit in your soil. Because everything that you think is shit in your life is there to help you grow. Oh, it preached. Well, as a man of God, you probably should have said manure or the fertilizer. Ma'am, not to the audience I'm preaching to. I I can take the robe off. We were joking about the gloves and the doily and stuff. What you showing up for street outreach in a full robe, bringing a portable pulpit and pews, not even chairs, pews, and a Hammond organ that you running off a generator?
Oh, no.
Huh?
Wow.
I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Ecclesial minimum. We got to get back to our true missional DNA. We got to repurpose church space. We talked about, and we have got to learn, Lord have mercy, to collaborate. To collaborate. To collaborate. It's okay to bring Sandy in.
Yes.
Let Sandy preach and teach.
Yes.
If they go with her, then that's because you weren't doing your job.
Wow.
I ain't got to fly. Carrie, where you living now?
Virginia.
I ain't got to fly him in from Virginia because he's
Why not?
safe. No, I'm saying, but you fly you in, right? The folks ain't gonna drive to Virginia from Atlanta to your church. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe they need to leave. Maybe they need to leave.
Come on, there you go.
You okay? Like, did this pastor say shit? we'll have prayer. We'll have prayer. Okay, all right. Yeah, but it's like, dude, we just got to get back to the basics, y'all. We got to get back to the basics and really dealing with the HIV community. All of this fluff, huff, and puff, and all that other stuff. The man said he was hungry. Why are we praying that Tyler Perry give him a movie and a mansion?
Thank you.
Why are we praying all of that? The man said he was hungry. Father God, we just pray. Well, better yet, let's just stop the prayer and go get the sandwich.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
all.
Why don't we just do
That's
that?
all.
Would that work? Would that work?
3% is.
Yeah.
Would that look?
Yeah.
No biscuit, because 3 piece with no biscuit, red beans and rice, right? But I'm like, I can't say no more. I can't say no more. So look, little old me, I need y'all's prayer, and then I'm done. We're putting together Hub City ATL, $5 million community project with a $3 million budget over 5 years. When I say the stuff that we get ready to put in a church is insane, because it's what the community asked for. There's going to be a laundromat in the church. There's going to be a clinic in the church.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry, there's going to be a beauty salon in the church and the barbershop. Not because we try to keep all the money, but that's where people gather.
Yeah.
What better place for us to perform mental health services in a barbershop and a beauty salon?
Yeah.
I've been in the barbershop and I literally got my barber under contract that she can't share nothing we share on Friday morning. Y'all have marriage counseling
Yes.
at the beauty salon and talk about everything
Yes.
while you getting your weave in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
while y'all getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're gonna come get your hair cut, you're gonna get your shave, you're gonna get your weave, this, that, and the other. But you ain't gonna know they mental health professionals.
The beauty shop is group therapy.
That's it. That's it.
It's group therapy.
The laundromat, I got 45 minutes to just talk to you.
Yeah.
Just to build, because your drawers ain't dry. So until they get dry, you ain't going nowhere. We thought about, let's do a coffee shop. Black folks don't pay $5 for coffee. But they'll come in and they'll do laundry.
Right.
Yeah.
The need.
So we just doing things different. We had to rethink church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the sanctuary is set up to preach on Sunday, but
Right.
you can have a birthday party
Right.
Right.
Saturday night.
Right.
That's fine. We'll vacuum and know if that's what you want to do.
Yes.
Workforce development program. Okay, Javon needs to get some experience putting roofs on houses.
Yes.
Well, Mother Bailey's house over there
Yes.
need a roof.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and fix her roof for free.
Yeah.
For free.
Yes.
Get that.
Is that not what the church
That's
is
what
supposed to
it
do? I don't need my own parking spot that says reserved for pastors. Because if I get there first, I get the same parking spot anyway.
I'm gonna be there already.
I'm just saying. I get the same spot at the hotel all the time because I get there early in the morning. And guess what? If I can't park over here, I can park over here.
Right.
I ain't gonna die.
I'm
Right.
not going back.
Thank you.
I'm
Just gotta
not.
walk.
It's just as
I'm gonna leave church folk alone. I don't expect to be invited to nobody's church.
Well, it's what Dr. Copeland said. she spoke on we have to ask for forgiveness of the things that we have
Yes,
done.
Lord.
Yes.
Yes, Lord.
And I ain't got to worry about what you done done. I got to put a mirror to my own face.
Look,
Right.
can we close 2 Chronicles 7:14? That wasn't a them. It was to us. If my people. If it's conditional. If I go to work, I get paid. If I don't, I don't. If it's conditional. My people was very generic. They were talking to a group. But he came back and said, what you're called by my name. By my name. Tells us to do what? To humble ourselves. Right? Humble ourselves, meaning we just too elevated right now.
Yes.
We think we just too close to God. And we ain't. Right? And we humble ourselves. Seek his face. Right? And the seeking comes when we earnestly seek. Have you ever lost keys? You look into every coat you ain't worn in 20 years. You looking in the pocket. And the one thing about the seeking process is not only will eventually you find the keys, you're going to find some other stuff you done lost. Seek. Turn that spiritual house upside down. Turn from them wicked ways. Why would he tell church folks to turn from their wicked ways? Because there's some stuff we do that's wicked. That's why he said it. And then
Yes.
we got to do this part. And then
Yes.
he will hear from heaven and heal our land. That's scripture. I covered up the shit that I said earlier. Boy! Look, if all hearts and minds are clear. But look, I want everybody, if you don't have my number, please get my number, right? If you text me your email address, I want to send you a free link. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So 678. No, same number. If you have it. No, if you don't have it, then I want you to have it. But 678, and there's people supposedly online if they ain't cut me off already. But 678-754, I've been cut off before. 6291. If you text me your email address, I'll go ahead and send you a free gift. But tolerate me on today. Ain't that something? Instead of giving me an offering, I'm going to give you a gift on today. I didn't ask for your cash app. I didn't ask for your cash app. Bless you. Okay. Where
Dr. Leslie B. West.
Okay.
In Seattle.
Seattle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I work for African American Team Health Ministry.
Okay.
Sales at the same.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm
Keep
grown.
it real.
Yeah, I'm grown.
He'll work out with some Marvin Gaye
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna
because he
email you.
wants to really engage people.
Yes.
It don't matter.
Right.
And you're telling them that all these letters behind your name don't mean nothing.
It don't mean nothing.
If you're not being a real person.
And so true. So true.
The church I went to, they were talking to the teenagers about sex. And telling them that, they're staying about it. I said, what y'all need to be talking to is about protection. So that they stay healthy and no unwanted pregnancy. Y'all need to start keeping it
Right, yeah. Don't struggle with that.
Because I just said, I just believe that if we are not, first of all, we got to remember who we were when we were young.
So true.
And some of them sit up there all praying and proper and saying the sanctified. But I remember a time when it was like, they forget. One time he told me, we were talking about something. He said, all y'all criticizing these young women coming in with the short dresses on, whatever. If y'all can still wear it, you men too, right now.
And the ones complaining are the ones looking.
Yes, thank you. Look, is that your phone?
No, that's that. I gotta make sure the guys coming back to get that.
Thank you so much.
No, bless you.
You don't know how much I'm from Virginia.
Okay,
I live
okay.
in North Carolina.
Okay.
But I ended up in that city of North
Okay,
Carolina.
gotcha.
And this right here,
Yeah,
used to be not this
my family is from Exmoor, so the eastern shore
Okay.
of Virginia. Grandfather, I forgot where he said he's from, North Carolina. But yes, and so then I was born in New York before I came down here. So, yeah. Okay. Right, yeah, we're along the line.
But we do have the I feel like thank you, Lord,
it's
for
been
getting
some
welcome
good
to my
stuff.
people.
Yeah, it's been some good stuff this week.
Because I get more trouble than I want to tell you.
It's all good. As long as it's good trouble. That's what I would say is good trouble. And look, and I'm grown.